fast. Be okay, I'm getting this. I have made my decision and that's final. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Najah Marie, back with another video. And in today's video, I'll be sharing with you guys 5 things that you need to do before you get a new tattoo. So without further ado, here goes nothing. So in case you guys weren't already aware, or if you have not been keeping up with my channel, or maybe my social media, I have gotten a new tattoo. I know, crazy, right? So I figured, why don't I just make a video for all of you people who have been thinking about getting a tattoo or who are about to get your first tattoo ever. I was thinking of sharing with you guys just some things that I learned through my experience that can help you so that your experience can be smooth and not scary in any way. Luckily, I made notes to keep myself on track because I can go on all day. Even though I only have 5 things, but I can just expound on those 5 things and just talk a lot like I'm doing right now. So let me give you guys the first thing. And disclaimer, these 5 things are not in any particular order of importance. You can basically put them on your level of importance. That didn't make much sense. Yeah, hopefully these 5 tips help you. The first thing that you need to do before getting a new tattoo is know what you want and be certain about it. Like, be sure, be steadfast, be okay, I'm getting this. I have made my decision and that's final. So the reason why I'm saying be sure or certain of what kind of tattoo that you want is obviously because tattoos are permanent. So it's not a temporary tattoo, and it's not like you're drawing some random design on yourself. This is going to stay with you for the rest of your life. Unless later on down the line you can afford to have laser removal, which I believe is like even more painful than getting the tattoo in the first place. In order to prevent you from having to make that decision of whether or not to go get your tattoo removed, why don't you just make it a point to really know what it is that you want and stick to it. So one of the questions, or at least the main question that I asked myself, will this tattoo, this design, will this be something that I'll be happy or content with or proud of for the remainder of my life? When I wake up every day and I look down on whatever part of my body that's getting tattooed, am I going to be okay with it? If you're unsure about what kind of design that you'd like or what you're thinking about getting for your first tattoo, I would suggest that you sit on it for at least a month. I mean, granted, I tried doing that, but I knew that if I waited a month, I would have chickened out and not gotten my tattoo. So, and you can wait a month. That just, that's just your personal preference. But I would really consider whether or not this tattoo is going to make you happy. To go back to point number 1, know what you want and be extremely certain. Okay, so after you have decided you're gonna get a tattoo, you're sure about the design and everything, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna get it. The next thing that you need to do, find your placement. Now what I mean by that is obviously where are you going to put the tattoo? Where are you going to have this design tatted on your body, right? Know exactly where it is that you want to put it. Here's a little tip, I guess. If this is your first tattoo, I would suggest getting it done in an area that is not as painful or not as sensitive. Of course, getting a tattoo in general is not the most pleasant experience. It's not like you're, going on vacation or something and it's like all bliss and happy. You know, it's a little uncomfortable, but it's well worth the pain. It just helps if the tattoo is being placed on a part of your body that isn't as sensitive and that you're not going to feel as much pain like I did. Because believe it or not, given my current circumstances, I had to have my tattoo. Well, no, I didn't have to have my tattoo on my ribs, but given like what I was trying to achieve and the look I was going for, it just made sense to have it on my rib cage. But if you don't want to go there, you don't have to go there. You can go on your forearm or any other place that isn't as sensitive. Just make sure that you do your research too. That's pretty important. The third thing you need to do before getting your new tattoo is do your research. And I'm talking about doing your research and asking yourself specific questions like how big or how small is your tattoo going to be? What is your budget? Typically, the bigger the tattoo, the higher the price. Also, it depends on whether or not you want to have color and shading placed into your tattoo, because that also makes the tattoo itself more expensive. So that's pretty important. Part 3C is when I say do your research, I literally mean that also pertains to your artist. Don't just settle for any old artist because they just so happen to fit inside of your budget, because you do get what you pay for. And since that will be a permanent fixture on your body for the rest of your life, you don't just want to go with anybody because, oh, I can afford them. If you have to wait a little bit longer to be able to afford the artist that you want, then save up enough money, or really more than enough money, so that you can tip them before meeting with your artist and booking an appointment and everything else like that. My suggestions are, when you're researching your artists, look them up on IG, Instagram, beautiful platform, because obviously tattoo artists, their artwork is primarily visual, so you have to see exactly like what their work looks like on human bodies, obviously. Also, do research on their artistic style, because that's pretty important as well. Depending upon your tattoo design and the art style that you're currently looking for, you might want an artist that tattoos in a particular style that you like. So that's pretty important, because obviously you're paying for the tattoo and you're paying for the service. You want to make sure that this is something that you're going to like looking at for the rest of your life. Also, and this is one of the biggest, most important things that you could ever do your research on when it comes to getting a tattoo, and that is make sure that your artist has worked with people of color in the past. Especially if you're getting a new tattoo and you're obviously a person of color like I am. Our skin tends to be more sensitive, prone to hyperpigmentation, keloiding, and other various quirks that come with having melanin in your skin. So you definitely want to make sure that your artist is well aware of the potential issues that might come up with your tattoo. There's like a little mini story time. Now, before I settled on Mecca, the most amazing tattoo artist in my opinion ever, I originally was going to go to another black-owned tattoo shop in the city where I'm from. I went there, spoke with one of the artists. I'm not gonna say a name or whatever. Like, she was really cool. She was open. Of course, she wanted to know what design I wanted and where I wanted it placed and everything else like that. However, luckily for me, since I was doing my research, since obviously I am a person of color, I have sensitive skin, my skin is prone to keloiding, I definitely took that into consideration when deciding whether or not to get a tattoo, because I knew that that was pretty important. And also, if I was paying for something that expensive and permanent, I didn't want to regret my decision. So I did my research, and when I was consulting with my first prospective artist, I explained to her what my situation was, that my skin is prone to keloiding. I asked her if she knew what that was, and she just looked at me like this. What is a keloid? And I'm sitting across from her like,
oh no,
you know, trying not to look like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know what a keloid is? How do you not know what a keloid is? I politely tried to explain to her to the best of my ability of like what a keloid actually was, which is obviously something that you can Google. I didn't feel like looking it up on my phone, so I was just going off of memory at the time. Explained to her to the best of my knowledge what a keloid was, and she looked at me with straight fear. Fear flashed across her face, and she just looked so uncomfortable and so unsure, and that was the deal breaker for me. If you are a tattoo artist and you are not familiar with sensitive skin, and yet you have worked a lot with people of color in the past, that just does not make any sense to me. So that was a deal breaker for me. So I did some more research until I actually found Mecca, and it was all smooth sailing. So onward to number 4. Please, for the love of all that is holy and sacred, when you're getting a new tattoo, please take care of yourself. Because as I have already mentioned maybe 5 or 6 times already, a tattoo is a wound. It is an open wound. It's not exactly the same thing as you getting a scrape and it scabbing over and healing and all that jazz. It's not exactly the same thing. You're basically having a needle pierce your skin like multiple times in rapid succession. Obviously, you want to make sure that you are in the best possible shape for when you're getting your new tattoo. What do I mean when I say like take care of yourself? Okay, so you've already had your consultation with your artist and everything's straight. You booked your appointment and you're just ready to get it done, right? The night before, make sure that you get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Do not get drunk before your appointment, because believe it or not, as much as when you're intoxicated, you're more relaxed, less likely to be anxious and nervous. But being intoxicated also makes you bleed more during the process, and that's not a good thing. So don't drink the night before. The morning of your appointment or before your appointment, make sure that you eat something. Make sure that you eat a nice breakfast the morning of, a decent sized lunch, and when you go to your appointment, also make sure that you bring snacks. In my previous vlog, I brought like chocolate, chips, a ginger ale, because I was nervous and I needed something to settle my stomach, but I wound up not really needing it so much. As well as I think granola bars. When you're getting a tattoo, depending upon how big your piece is going to be, you're going to be like in the tattoo chair for give or take about an hour to maybe over an hour. So you want to make sure that your body is, that you're comfortable and that you don't feel shaky like you're gonna pass out or anything like that, because that's pretty important. So please make sure that you eat beforehand and bring plenty of snacks. Also bring water too, because you definitely want to stay well hydrated as well. Also, once you've gotten your tattoo and it looks all good and you're all excited because you finally got it, make sure that you follow your tattoo artist's aftercare instructions, because that is literally like, that is the difference between 2 to 3 weeks later, like your tattoo is fully healed, or you wind up getting a pretty bad infection and that has to be taken care of. So you really want to make sure that you follow your tattoo artist's aftercare instructions well and consistently, at least for 2 to maybe 3 weeks, depending upon your piece. And last but not least in section 4 is rest after you get your tattoo. Like, you're going to be tired. Don't even think about trying to do work or exercise or do any of that after you get a tattoo, because your body has been through trauma. So make sure you get a lot of rest. And the final thing you should do before getting a new tattoo is to have fun and enjoy the process. Honestly, it's not as bad as you think. Really, it's not. Like, your mind is going to make the whole thing bigger than what it actually is. Of course, your pain tolerance might be different from mine. Also, I had numbing cream before I actually like laid down in the tattoo artist's chair and she started working on me, so that kind of helped a little bit. Yeah, so just have fun and enjoy the process. You're getting a tattoo, so just enjoy it. And also make sure that you tip your artists, especially if they do phenomenal work. Tip them. Oh, okay, yeah, so I guess I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you've been liking my content thus far, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Toodles!